Coming to you from his studio in downtown San Francisco, this is the Backstage Bay Area podcast. And now, here's your host, Steve Roby.
Hey, welcome everyone. This is Backstage Bay Area. Thanks for joining us. I'm Steve Roby. Today we're joined by composer, poet, and vocalist Natasha Agrama of Instant Alter, the future fusion band she co-leads with saxophonist Emilio Modeste. The group blends jazz, rock, soul, storytelling, and the spirit of Brazilian tropicalia. They're heading to SFJAZZ's Joe Henderson Lab on Sunday, April 19th for 2 shows, joined by special guest drummer Will Cajon. Natasha joins me now. Hi, Natasha. Welcome to Backstage Bay Area.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Hey, before we get into the music, where am I reaching you today?
I'm in Los Angeles, hometown.
All right. Well, greetings from Northern California, San Francisco.
Thank you. Yeah, I love the Bay so much. I lived in San Francisco for 6 years, and always a joy to come back.
All right. For listeners who may be new to Instant Alter, how would you describe the band's sound in your own words?
Well, listen, Instant Alter is a band unlike any other band that's ever existed, just to be humble about it.
Okay.
We've kind of, we're playing around with the term future fusion.
Mm-hmm.
We're definitely a child of fusion. We're all jazz musicians, and to me, to us, that means so much. It's not, jazz is kind of this all-encompassing kind of future edge universe that can hold so much. So yeah, it's a future fusion sound. It's an extremely dynamic band. I'll start off by letting you know, it's just, the concept is drums, drum, bass, and saxophone and voice. So there's no traditional harmonic instrument, no guitar, no piano. Sometimes we do have our friend, wonderful keyboardist, Kayla Black Butterfly Childs from Philly, play synths and stuff with us. That's like a special treat that we experience every once in a while. But the concept of the band is no traditional harmonic instrument. Our bass player, Brandon Rose from Detroit, has just started playing an alembic bass that was gifted to him by the great Stanley Clarke, and is, part of Stanley's signature sound. And so now, yes, there are chords being played on the bass, and, he plays the bass, Brandon, he has a lot of beautiful techniques that, add to the harmony. But the core concept of the band is this, you could think it's a stripped down sound, but people are surprised by how full the harmony feels, even just with essentially 2 voices, bass and drums.
I got that impression too when I was listening to the music.
Yeah, you kind of don't miss it. It's the concept of like, when you have a great song and you can just play it on guitar and voice, and you don't need all the frills of production. Some songs really need a lot of ear candy to kind of make it fly. A great song is a great song when you can hear it in that traditional folkloric, stripped down, brass tacks kind of form. So that's kind of our idea, is to really just lean into the core of music and start there.
Yeah. So I have to ask, where does the name Instant Alter come from, and what does it mean?
Well, Instant Alter is a name that I've carried around for a really long time. It actually started out, my mom made candles when I was in high school and college, and I would make extra money actually walking around the Mission District with like a basket full of candles.
Nice.
Going to small businesses and selling my mom's candles there. And I called the candles Instant Altars, because you light a candle and instantly you can create an altar space.
Right.
So that's ALTAR. And I just carried it around for a long time because I love the concept. I feel like music is an instant altar. Of course, we spell our band name ALTER.
Right.
Because And, audibly there is that double entendre, which is intended. But instant alter is like the moment that you remember, in a struggle, the moment you remember a truth that instantly gives you strength to persevere. It's the moment you hear your favorite song from your childhood. It's the moment you smell something from your childhood, or something reminiscent of something that gives you great comfort. Or yeah, it's a moment of inspiration. Does inspiration come over you slowly, or is it like this aha,
Yeah.
There's this sense that music can do that. And all change takes time, and also maybe happens instantly. Relief is this kind of thing that, even if it's a little bit of relief, that relief is instant, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of inspirations, you and Amelia pull from a wide range of groups and bands and artists. For example, Return to Forever, Mariah Carey, Tina Turner, Alice Coltrane, The Police, and even the Spice Girls. What do those influences open up for you creatively?
Well, it's just who we are. I had to throw in the Spice Girls because it's just true for me. But there is this sense of like a female-led
Yeah.
kind of force. Yeah, there are a lot of, I would also like to add Wayne Shorter, John Coltrane,
Yeah.
Miles Davis, Tony Williams, the whole Mahavishnu, the whole fusion movement
Yeah.
is really important to us spiritually. I feel like that's something that has a huge place in our hearts because of yes, the sound and the spirit of it, but also just what it represents in terms of holding like the burning questions of humanity in the time. There is a moment there where music was really a direct mirror to the hearts of people in terms of the values that were held in the music, how it was made, how it sounded, and the content. I don't want to say that I feel like that's lost right now, but I do think that there's a lot of other stuff happening,
Right.
and we really want to create this music that has values at the forefront. A dear friend of ours at the inception of this band was like, if y'all want to hit it big, you have to put your values away because you're going to turn people off. You have to act cool. And we're like, what's cooler than having value?
Yeah.
This was a couple years ago, but now it's really clear. I really still think, I don't know where mainstream music is right now. I kind of stay in my sphere of influence, but I do feel like if it is ahead of the curve to care and to want to make the world a better place and to sing about it passionately,
Yeah.
then we're ahead of the curve. If it's not cool yet, it's going to be cool because, I don't know. I think there's going to be a saturation point where people want to stop having small talk and want to have a real discussion and want to do that culturally.
I sure hope that happens. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's happening, and it'll happen at SFJAZZ in the Joe Henderson Lab on
Nice
April
transition
19th.
there.
Thank you. But yeah, I feel like all of those artists in their way, even Mariah, mainstream artists, what they represent is a level of truth. And, for me, I connect personally with Mariah Carey's personal struggles and her victory as a woman in this industry and a biracial woman in this industry and her personal story. But, the Police, the concept of a quartet kind of led by a bass player and, kind of the rawness of the sound. And then our Brazilian influences, the Tropicalia universe that, Caetano Veloso was exiled from Brazil by the military dictatorship for singing about love, for singing about truth. He spent 2 years in exile in England and returned a hero. And I don't want to be exiled from my country necessarily, but that's kind of my dream.
Well, let's
to
let's hope
sing
that
about
doesn't
love and
happen.
have that kind of impact, you know?
Yeah.
Just that's like the most romantic, revolutionary kind of artist journey. So, and the music is iconic, inspirational. The words aren't coming to me,
That's
actually.
all
I
right.
don't.
More
Yeah.
power to you.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah.
well, let's talk about your current project. You have a live album coming out on a Japanese label.
Yeah.
What does a live recording capture about Instant Alter that the studio can't?
Well, yeah, that's why we recorded the album because, you know, the studio album, which is lovely and something worth, you know, listening to and enjoying. And yeah, it was really the inception of this music, and everything has changed so much. And the music, you know, we're improvisational musicians. Everything can grow and change in such a way, and it has over the last 2 years. And we just formed a language, and it's ever evolving. And there's also just this signature energy that kind of erupted in our playing together that, yeah, it wasn't so alive in the beginning. It wasn't so evolving, and yeah, things had changed so much that we almost couldn't just leave it where it was. We
Ah,
had to, and everyone, we got the feedback a lot from people like, "Yo, you guys need to do a live album because this is something else. The energy and the communication, the level of communication is really different." And we were wondering if we could even capture it because so much of it has to do with the moment, the city that we're visiting, the people. We were playing in Tijuana, Mexico, and people were like standing on the tables screaming
wow.
louder than the
Wow.
band, and the band gets really loud. But we've had these incredible experiences, the cave in North Carolina where people are 6 inches away from your face and you're like singing at the top of your lungs into their smiling faces, a foot in front of you. Is just amazing, amazing experiences playing this music. And we really just wanted to try and share that in a recorded format.
I love.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the strong visual and conceptual side to the group. There's projection, analog video, sculpture, and printed materials. When you build a performance, how much are you thinking about the full experience and not just the songs?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. My background is in conceptual art at SFAI, which
hmm
we miss so much. That's a great question, and it's actually something that's on my mind right now because I do feel like it's so vast that, and all of it is still, there's a lot of improvising. So there have been times where we take on specific projects and we want to integrate this, and my attention really has to go into these visual, conceptual kind of spaces and then back into the music. It's all coming from a place of understanding the music and wanting to translate the music into these other forms, mediums. But yeah, as the one who is fabricating things and designing things and editing, and you know I'm about to go to friggin' Santa Monica Plastics to buy some plexiglass this afternoon to make a day glow sign that can hang behind us at festivals, and design it. And yeah, it's like, it's kind of, I'm not on top of it yet, to be perfectly honest, because they are different mindsets. And I feel like it's kind of, you have to go like macro vision and then myopic, or
Mm.
like detail
hmm
oriented,
Yeah.
back and forth over and over and over to really do something that isn't, that does the music justice. And, I think it's getting easier because this band is imbued with the meaning of, that I try and live with and my mission, so I'm sorry if that's a long-winded answer. It's something
quite all right. I enjoyed every minute of it.
Heavy on my mind.
Well, let's get into the music now. The first track we're going to play on the show is called Sun Polaris. What drew you and Emilio to that piece, and what did you want it to express?
Well, Sun Polaris is what we call the live version of our song Con Polaris, which Emilio wrote something like 900 billion years ago in his dreams or something like that. I came into the scene of knowing Emilio, and that song had existed already. And it's maybe taken as many forms. It's always changing. So Sun Polaris is the live version of Con Polaris, and that is basically our mission statement. It existed instrumentally, and I put lyrics to it after having this conversation with Emilio, and we kind of crystallized it into this form that is ever evolving and changing. So it is basically, it's a transcript of a conversation that we had with beings that we met in a dream called the present moment, the beings we quickly recognized as ourselves in the future, having lived our dream come true.
All right.
Basically, what would you do if you knew that the world would walk in love one day? How would you move if you knew that your dreams were purposeful and, that in the future, water is free, air is clean. Most of all, we have peace, and we are with you now. These are the lyrics.
All right. Well, let's hear it now. This is Sun Polaris by Instant Alter here on Backstage Bay Area. You just heard Sun Polaris by Instant Alter. Natasha Agrama is my guest today on Backstage Bay Area. Natasha, much of your music seems to stem from a deeper set of values, and you touched on a little bit before the song, humanity's dreams, true love, and what you called a human revolution in these times. How do those ideas find their way into the songs without becoming too literal?
That's a good question. You know, all we are saying is give peace a chance. Is that too literal? I don't know. You know what I
Works
mean?
for
Like,
me.
it works for me too. And it's such medicine to hold that. And, you know, there's so much like this, you know, kids are all talking about cringe culture. You don't want to be cringe. You don't want to talk about love. You don't want to talk about the dreams of humanity and peace. And I just have to write something that reminds me to live a life where I can move, even if I have fear, and move towards the greatest good. If it works for me, maybe it could be too literal. I don't know. Maybe some people hear the music and it's not for them, but it works for some people and it works for me. And, you know, when I'm struggling, the lyrics in my own music can get me through. Like that's crazy. That's why I'm doing it. It's not crazy. That's why I'm doing it. Because I need it, you know?
Yeah. Well, let's get back to the music and play the second song that we're going to feature in the show. The song translates in English to prayer to time, and Instant Alter brings a very distinct spirit to it. Can you talk about what this song means to you, and what did you want to preserve from the original, and what did you want Instant Alter to take it? Where did you want Instant Alter to take it?
Thank you. Yeah. So this is Caetano Veloso's Oração Ao Tempo, which is an incredible song that is a story about someone kind of approaching time in this anthropomorphic way, you know, talking to time as if it's a person, a man, and kind of like in this kind of old world, super cute way, like trying to strike a deal with time. Like, let's make a deal. If you feel more, the deal would be that you feel more alive in the strumming of my verse. And in exchange, you give me legitimate pleasure. You give me precise movement. And, you know, we'll keep it a secret just between you and me. I mean, the lyrics to this song, it's so deep. It's so beautiful. I loved this song for many years, never having translated it and knowing, you know, maybe every 10th word, and the song would make me cry anyway. And I finally got around to translating it as we decided to perform it. And it just touched me so deeply. So we had the honor of this track off our studio album is produced by Casa Overall, who's a wonderful artist, drummer, and producer, and dear friend. And it also features Stanley Clark on
Nice.
the
That's
alarming
right. Yeah.
bass. Yeah. So bringing those two kind of universes together, because Casa's coming from jazz and also hip hop and experimental pop, hip hop, jazz. I don't know what to call his music necessarily, but to bring kind of this generational gap, even between Caetano, who is, 10 years older than Stanley, and then Stanley to Casa. There's probably I don't know how many 30-year gap
Sure. Yeah.
there, bridging all of these sounds. And then we added kind of this chorus type melody. And then also, I will just cop to that I lobbed off the last 3 verses of this song. And it was kind of because it's a little controversial in the band. People were like, why don't we play the whole song? For me, my grandfather had just passed, and it talks about themes of when you and I are both outside of time and neither of us exist, maybe we can meet on another level of existence, of communication. And it just makes me so emotional that I number one, I maybe shied away from bringing that forward, but in a way it's like kind of like, how in Islam you don't depict Allah, or in with bass luthiers, I know that there's this tradition that once you make the perfect bass, you have to nick it. It's like you don't give the whole thing, because this isn't the whole thing. There's a picture of perfection, and you don't touch it, or you don't try to replicate it. So in a way, it just felt like, I'm going to do this song. I'm not going to do the whole thing, because for me, the most moving verses actually are the last verses. And it just felt like this complete picture that I want to point to this song. It's a masterpiece. I want to give our version, and my story there is complete, but there's more,
Okay.
So I really want people to go check out that song. Also, Javan's version of that song, the great composer, singer, songwriter Javan from Brazil. His version is how I originally found out about the song. It's one of my favorite recordings of all time off of his more recent album, Aria. So yeah.
All right. Well, let's play Instant Alter's version of the song now. And when we return, I'll ask Natasha about Instant Alter's upcoming SFJAZZ shows. This is Prayer to Time here on Backstage Bay Area. We just heard Prayer to Time by Instant Alter. Natasha Agrama is my guest today on Backstage Bay Area. Natasha, let's pivot to the SFJAZZ dates. You'll be at the Joe Henderson Lab for 2 shows on April 19th. What can audiences expect from Instant Alter live at that venue?
Oh, girl, what can I expect? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're playing with the great and legendary Will Calhoun of In Living Color fame, countless other great artists that he's played with.
Yeah, congrats on that. Yeah.
Thank you. It's a huge honor. I'm a huge fan. And I'm flying to New York in a couple days just to have a 3-hour-long rehearsal with him and then flying back home because I need to be there and put in this time. They're not going to rehearse without me. I'm not missing that opportunity. But
Sure.
yeah.
So what does he bring to the bandstand for these shows?
Oh my God. I can only imagine because I've not played with him before. So we shall see.
All right.
He's a master, and so much of, Instant Alter has an East Coast outfit and a West Coast outfit, basically. Different drummers, and the music changes so much. And it's so exciting for me because I'm always discovering and I'm always challenged and I'm always, it's a very active listening. You don't do these shows, you don't do this music justice. You can't walk through it. You have to actively feel your way through it. And I love that. And I'm so grateful that we have this opportunity. I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but possibly it's been talked about that possibly Gary Bartz will come sit in as well.
Okay.
We're not allowed to put him on the flyer because it's not confirmed, and I think he has another show in the area. But he's dear friends with Emilio, and obviously a hero of Emilio's, and he has told us that he's going to try and come through and play. So I absolutely have no idea what to expect.
Well, could you tell us who else is going to be joining you on stage?
Yeah, it's me, Emilio Modeste, and Brandon Rose, who is an amazing bass player, artist in his own right. I actually just went to his show last night in Venice, and I was listening to these strangers, in the back of the room talking, and they were like, it's as if Chris Brown picked up a bass and is a fusion bass player. He's an incredible singer, like R&B, pop, soul singer. He's really got his own sound. And then myself, Natasha Agrama, on vocals and some electronics that we'll bring, and Emilio Modeste also on some electronics and saxophone.
Nice.
We've been integrating some MPC drum machine type things. It's just way too much experimentation to even postulate what it's going to be other than the moment. And, because of these times that we're living, I can promise that it will be inspiring and centering because that's what we're doing it for.
All right. Well, let me remind our listeners, you can catch Instant Alter with special guest Will Calhoun at SFJAZZ's Joe Henderson Lab on Sunday, April 19th, with shows at 6 p.m. and 7:30 p.m., and there may be a special guest on the work there. So stay tuned. Maybe follow you on social media to get updates?
Yeah, at Instant Alter on Instagram.
All right. For tickets and more information, visit sfjazz.org. And my tip is to get there early because it's open seating. There's not a bad seat in the room. There's 100 seats there. It's floor to glass ceiling on 2 sides of the room. So on stage, there's this visual, and you get a free light show of the San Francisco downtown scene with ambulances and fire trucks and all kinds of people looking in the window. So don't miss this show. And please stop by Instant Alter's website at instantalter.com for more on their music and much more in store for you when you get to that site. It's a wild site. Natasha, thank you for joining me and sharing more about the music, the ideas behind Instant Alter, and these great upcoming shows at SFJAZZ.
Thank you, Steve. And I just want to say to everyone listening, thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing this moment with us together. If we're facing the truth, if we're facing our values and goodness, and we continue to walk that way, I know that there will be a brighter tomorrow.
Well said. Backstage Bay Area will be right back after these messages.
Are you a jazz musician preparing for a run in San Francisco? The Backstage Bay Area podcast wants to help tell your story. We are currently filling our guest lineup with the artists keeping the jazz scene alive. If you have dates booked at a local club or concert hall, let's get you on the mic to discuss your latest work. Connect with us directly. Send an email to backstage.sfbay@gmail.com. Just let us know when you'll be playing in San Francisco. That's backstage.sfbay@gmail.com.
Backstage Bay Area is dedicated to keeping jazz alive in the 415 by spotlighting the artists, presenters, and venues that sustain this music. The most meaningful way to support local jazz is simple. Show up, buy a ticket, and experience the music live. Visit BackstageBayArea.com and explore our upcoming concerts section, featuring both a weekly guide and a weekend guide to jazz shows across the region, plus the latest concert news. Thank you for keeping jazz alive in the 415.
You've been listening to the Backstage Bay Area podcast. Visit us on the web at BackstageBayArea.com. And don't forget to keep jazz alive in the 415.